Please join me in welcoming Kim Komando.
So no, this is not the industry we knew 20, 30, or 40 years ago, and nothing is. Radio broadcasting has been built up, torn down, built again, sold, merged, erased, and then yet rebuilt. But to our loyal listeners, for them, it's this constant in their lives. Maybe the only one. Maybe we are their closest friends. And it remains our industry and our home. And we are so humbled and proud to be a part of it. And I promise we will never take it for granted. So thank you for allowing me to come visit with you today. And don't forget to register one of our free Komando Windows tablets in the back. Thank you for listening, and God bless you all.
The question I get asked the most is, how did you two start? How did you two get together to do a show? And the honest answer is I started an ESPN morning show in 1998, and it went till about October of '99. The first partner I had, Tony Bruno, left for another network, so there was this search for my next partner. And my wife, who is the only person who isn't paid by ESPN that listens to all 4 hours of my show every single day. So she would, as they brought in one person after another to audition for the job, she would listen every morning along with Pete Genesini at the time, which was the producer of the show. And in the first 5 minutes, I would talk to her after the first segment, and she'd be like, oh, you got a long 4 hours ahead of you. Or, hey, maybe this one will work out. And in the midst of this 3 months, when they didn't have a candidate, they would have a fill-in ESPN person just sit in for the day. And Greeny was one of those days. He filled in. We never met each other, not till 5 minutes before the show. And Greeny, tell everybody what your thought process was for the start of the show.
Well, when I first saw him, I thought, my goodness, what a big, fat, disgusting slob he is, which he was then. He was much fatter then. He's lost a lot of weight, which has diminished half of the humor of our show. And I've told him if he ever becomes smart, the show's over. But that said, the first thing I ever said to him on the air was, you know, Mike, I don't want to suggest that you're sort of a big fat guy, but if we stood next to each other, you would be the number 10. And I figured, listen, one of two things will happen. Either he'll laugh or he'll punch me in the face. And either way, that's a win, because I come from a long line of highly litigious people. So if he had punched me in the face, I could have taken him for all of the money that he made in the National Football League. To his everlasting credit, he laughed.
Yeah, I did. And after the first segment, 15 minutes in, I got off, took a break and called Chris, and her exact quote, he sounds kind of geeky, but he's the one. I mean, first 15 minutes, she picked that one out, and it's been almost, yeah. I come from the world of sports, being a 10th round draft pick, and just to show you how low a 10th round draft pick is in the NFL, there's not even 10 rounds anymore in the NFL. There's only 7. So I've had to kind of claw and scratch this whole time, and then to go into a business I certainly didn't know a whole lot about, and then to be inducted into this Hall of Fame and read some of the names that go along with this. I thought the people picking this were drunk, or we were in a different category. I had no idea how they could put our names here. But one thing that I am very proud of is understanding this isn't just Mike and I. I do a lot of sports analogy. And coming from team sports the way I did, you can't do something like this alone. And the way I put it, I said there's people who put their hand in the dirt with us every single day. That's my terminology in football, getting in that stance and putting their hand in the dirt and going through every play with us. To help, and I know Greeny will recognize some, but I want to recognize producers of this show through the time this show started a long time ago, and I'm happy they're here. Pete Genesini, Justin Craig, Scott Shapiro, Liam Chapman, Ray Netchie, and Amanda Gifford overseeing it. They have been such a backbone to all of us. for so many years and helped someone like me who wasn't really, you know, used to this medium. And as far as, I always get asked as well, what's your best moment of the show? And you know, there are moments, and you saw in the video, we were on David Letterman, we went to the White House, some really fantastic moments. But they also, the best thing I take from this show is, and it has so much to do in the ways you can get the show now, ESPN2, the podcast, streaming, all the different ways. But to me, it's radio.